Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday morning, April 4th. We're looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and the NQ. So after the three stooges distorted the market-generated information late in the day, we're right back to where we were for a good portion of yesterday. We're actually trying to take this gap back. Now, again, there's 70 minutes to go prior to the opening. So we don't know where we're going to open. Plus, we've had a lot of wide pointed controls overnight that we get away from. So we'll see. Do we get away from these and to the downside or to the upside? There are going to be some very visual targets here for ES this morning up here. First and foremost is to fill the gap. Second are these wide point of controls from April 2nd. 20 wide on the overnight, 10 wide on the regular trading hours. So those are going to be very, very visual targets and destinations. And then don't forget, we had a double distribution day down on the 1st, which has to be rectified. So there's definitely levels for the bulls to go to. On the flip side, if they fail up here again, all we have is the 9 wide point of control, which right now would go from an upside destination to a downside, and then yesterday's low. So any failure by the bulls up here, an acceptance into this value, and again, you have a price vacuum to yesterday's low. These wide point of controls, it seems every day, whatever side they finish on, they're on the opposite side the next day. So this one was going to be an upside. Right now, it might be a downside. NQ also. Now remember, we're in balance, and it depends on what kind of balance you give it. Some people might have called this a 2-day balance, and they're going to call it up if we take out yesterday's high. I said in last night's video, I'm encompassing the entire, that daily, I think it's 9 or 10 days as my balance, which means I want to take out the all-time high to come out of balance on the daily. NQ, they had an inside week down. They actually closed below it last night and now above it. So back inside last week's range. So they've been flirting with inside week down a good part of the week. So we'll see what happens this morning. Now, again, yesterday's high, to me, isn't the real important one because we're back in balance already. So we'll see how that plays out. As far as righty goes, righty had an opportunity for an outside day up. It didn't get it, but now they're still playing around yesterday's high. Remember, they still have the gap from the other day, which is fairly large. That still has to be filled. Okay, NQ filled theirs, and like we talked about, ES and SPY left a minuscule gap. So game plan, again, for this morning. Let's see where the overnight high is. If the overnight high turns out to be somewhere around these wide POCs, I think it's a good risk-reward short, even though value would be higher, because you should hit a speed bump with that kind of business that was done there. Look at this. You should. So that would be one play there. Again, if you get the overnight high and these POCs, then at least I would get out until we see what happens up at the upper end of the lower distribution from that day then. Okay? So that's a short play. As far as a long play, if we do open, get the overnight high first and fill the gap, then on a pullback, I'd look for a long and use value high as my out. Because again, any acceptance into value, you should go at least trade at this 9 wide POC. I don't think I'd want to take the heat down to there, so I would get out, and then we would see what happens at the point of control, or even more so if we were to go and test the overnight low. But by that time, value would probably be unchanged. But if we got the overnight high, I would still say it's a decent risk reward to at least take the trade to see if they front run the overnight low. NQ pretty much the same thing, although they're much further away right now from their overnight high. But again, there's a lot of time to go. So both of these things have shown a very, very strong tendency to front run their overnight highs and lows. So if you were to get a push up and you want to short the 10 wide POC, that's about 12, 13 points away from the overnight high. You can do that and use the overnight high as you're out. And the same thing on a long. If we were to get the overnight high on a pullback, I would long it against value high. And again, against yesterday's high, and then use value high as my out if we were to get back into it. Again, these are just early plays, right? We like to see the market paint its picture. It's a new canvas every morning. So being in the trading room, you're going to get to see that. And then on the chart, I'll just show you the daily. So again, some people might call this a 2-day balance, and I don't have a problem with that. But I'm calling this an 8-day balance coming into today. I want the all-time high taken out. I think this is still a very tight range here where I don't think I want to call the daily up if we take out yesterday's high. I want to see them make a new all-time high and come out of that to call the daily up. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel. Good luck trading today, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.